Hello everyone, I am Krunal Panchal, working as an assistant professor in Computer Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome all to the video lecture series of operating system with respect to the syllabus of Gujarat Technological University. In today's session, we are going to discuss unit number 5, which is nothing but a deadlock in operating system. Here is the outline of today's session, in which we are going to discuss deadlock in operating system. Means what? Introduction of deadlock in operating system, that we are going to discuss. And the next one is what are the necessary conditions, okay, for deadlock. Okay, so let us discuss uh, deadlock first. So this topic is very important as far as any practical examination, any theory examination, any competitive examination, whether you're talking about interview as well. This deadlock question, or we can say concept, is very important with respect to operating system, with respect to database as well. Okay, so let us discuss what is deadlock. So before going to discuss the definition of deadlock with respect to operating system, let us discuss deadlock with respect to real life situation. Means, first of all, we are going to discuss, because there are so many examples of deadlock. If you compare this topic with real life situation, so things would be easier to understand if you correlate that stuff with real life situation. So that's why we will discuss the real life example first, okay, of deadlock. Then we'll discuss the deadlock in operating system. Okay, so in this particular slide, there is one road traffic situation, or okay, say scenario, in which deadlock occurs. How? You can see in these road traffic, these horizontal lines and these vertical lines denotes the roads, and these square boxes nothing but, if you assume these all are nothing but the cars, or you can say vehicles. Okay, there, and the cars are traveling in a different direction. So this side of cars traveling from top to bottom, this side of car traveling from left to right. Okay, this side of car traveling from bottom to top, and this side of car traveling from right to left. So by considering this scenario, what will happen if such type of situation occurs, in which none of the car can execute its task, or guess none of the car can move ahead, like, because this set of cars traveling in one direction from top to bottom, so this set of cars is blocked by this set of cars which is traveling from left to right direction. Same way, this set of cars is blocked by this set of car traveling from bottom to top. Same way, this set of car execution is blocked by this set of car which is traveled from right to left direction. And same way, these top to bottom direction cars, okay, is blocked the execution of this set of car which is traveling from right to left. So in this situation, what happens? None of the car can go ahead. So this is the a very simple example of a deadlock. Means what? None of the vehicles can go ahead because each and every vehicle moving towards different directions are blocking the execution of other vehicles, or you can say cars. So that's why even though they are ready for execution or they are ready for moving, still because of this situation they cannot move. So this situation is nothing but deadlock situation in real time scenario. Okay, now let us discuss what is deadlock with respect to operating system. Okay, so what is the deadlock? So we have discussed in unit number 2 process management. Whenever you want to increase the degree of multi-programming, okay, in that type of systems, like in a multi-programming system, what is multi-programming system, you know very well. By having uniprocessor machine, we are trying to execute more and more programs simultaneously. Okay, so that is the nothing but to increase the degree of multi-programming. Okay, so in multi-programming, in such type of system, a number of process competes for limited number of resources, because in computer system we have limited number of resources, like we have limited number of memory, we have limited number of CPU, we have limited number of printers which is attached with the system, we have limited number of IO devices, we have limited number of registers, we have limited number of uh, uh, files, we can say. Okay, so the number of processes competes for limited number of resources. Means what? Suppose, say for example, if we have limited number of resources, like say for example printer, and more than one clients are sending a simultaneous request to access a printer, in that case what will happen? So same stuff we have considered over here. In multi-programming system, a number of process competes for limited number of resources, and if resource is not available at that instance, then process enters into a waiting state. Means suppose if 10 users are sending a request to get a printout from the printer, so that request will be uh, received by the printer, but printer cannot execute more than one task, or say one process at a time. Yes, because we are dealing with uniprocessor machine, printer is not shareable device. It means printer can accept multiple requests, but it can execute one request at a time. So that's why in multi-programming operating system, a number of processes competing for limited number of resources, because all the 10 requests are going to use the printer. But if a resource is not available at that time, means what? If printer is busy when such type of request arrived, what will happen? This process, what operating system will do? This process will be entered into a waiting state. You know very well what is waiting state. Okay, if a process unable to change its waiting state indefinitely, if that set of process unable to change its waiting state, means what? Right now they are in waiting state, but after some period of time, definitely that process can enter into a say for example running state. But if a process is unable to enter into a running state, or we can say if is unable to change its waiting state for long period of time, infinitely. Okay, in that case, indefinitely, because the resources requested by it are held by another waiting process. Okay, so whatever the 10 number of processes are sending a request to access a printer, at that time printer is waiting for some other process, and that other task, and that task is reside in some, that task requires some hardware, say for example hardware device, say for example scanner, to execute it task. So whenever such type of request arrived, if at that time if that device is waiting for some another resource which is acquired by the requested process, okay, so definitely both the process will be wait for each other for infinite period of time. And this, if such type of situation occurs, in that case we can say that that situation, that system enters into a deadlock situation. So this is nothing but, so deadlock is one situation in which all the competing processes are unable to execute its tasks because of these reason. So that's why we can say that that process is, because of this type of processes, okay, the systems entered into a deadlock state. So this phenomenon we can easily uh, understand with the help of graph, this graph. Like if you want to explain what is deadlock in operating system, you can easily explain with the help of this graph. And this graph is nothing but resource allocation graph. This is a special type of graph which is nothing but a resource allocation graph, in which there are two processes. So processes are denoted with the help of circle. Okay, so P1 and P2, these two are processes, and these two square box, are nothing but resources. Okay, so resources are represented in terms of square box in the case of resource allocation graph. Okay, so what will happen in this case, how we can come to know that is there any deadlock situation occurred or not in this case. So how to elaborate this figure, so we can elaborate like this. Suppose P1, in this case process P1 is requesting a resource which is nothing but resource number R2. Okay, process this, if directed arrow starting from process to towards resource, it means what, that type of edge is nothing but requested edge. But if arrow directed arrow started from resource towards process, it means what, that is nothing but assignment edge. Okay, so what is requested edge and what is assigned edge, that you need to know in a proper way. Okay, so this is nothing but requested edge. So P1 is requesting to get the resource R2, but right now R2 is acquired by P2 process. Yes, right now R2 is acquired by P2 process. Same way P2 is requesting the resource R1, but R1 is acquired by P1. So in this way, one cycle is formed. Starting from here, it will, one cycle is formed. All are in same direction. So if one cycle is formed, if such type of cycle is formed, in that case we can say that the deadlock is occurred. Why? Because P1 and P2, these two processes, both are waiting for each other to get the resource. Why? Because P1 is waiting for a resource which is acquired by P2. Okay, and P2 is requesting a resource which is acquired by P1. So in this case, both the P1 and P2 are waiting for each other indefinitely. So this situation is nothing but deadlock. This is very important things you need to keep in your mind. Okay, so in computer system there are various types of resources we have. So these resources can be hardware resources or it can be a software resources. Whenever we are talking about hardware resources, it means what? It can be a CPU, it can be a printer, it can be a scanner, it can be we can say memory. Okay, and when we're talking about software resources, it can be a file, it can be a database. Okay, so these are the software resources. So these resources can be a software resource or it can be a hardware resource. Okay, when process uh, associated with operating system, how that process needs to be executed. So these are the three different steps, okay, that process needs to follow, okay, in operating system. So how the process execution will be completed. So there are three steps in which process needs to be executed. So this is noted by this system model. So in system model there are three steps. First one is every process will request for the resource. Means what? If P1 process require any resource, first of all that process will request the resource. It cannot be directly print that resource. Okay, it cannot directly print that resource forcefully. First of all, that process will send a request to get that resource. Okay, if that resource is entertained, means what? If at that time if that resource is available, in that case that resource will be allocated to that process. So if entertained, then process will use the resource. Means what? If resource is allocated to this process, so process will now use that resource for its execution. And once it's complete its execution with this resource, now process has to release this resource compulsorily, so that other process can use that resource, okay, after some time. So process must release the resource after use. So this, in this way, process will be entertained to executed task with the help of resource in operating system. Clear? First one is request. Second one is using that resources once it is granted the permission, and once the usage is completed, in that case that process has to release its associated resources. Okay, so this is all about deadlock in operating system. In this way also, none of the process can execute its task or continue its task, because both are waiting for each other indefinitely. So this is nothing but a deadlock. Now, what are the three different conditions, okay, for deadlock to occur in operating system? So what are the uh, different conditions we have? So through which we can come to know that yes, deadlock, if this situation, if these conditions simultaneously true, in that case we can say that yes, deadlock is happened over there. So what are the conditions? Let us discuss in detail. So deadlock can arise if following four conditions hold simultaneously. Yes, so deadlock can arise if following four conditions, all these conditions simultaneously uh, true. In that case we can say that yes, deadlock is there in the system. Yes, so what are the conditions? Let us discuss each one in detail, one by one. So first condition is mutual exclusion. What is mutual exclusion? So one or more than one resource are non-shareable. So means mutual exclusion means what? Only one process can use the resource at a time. Means, as I told you, there are two types of resources. One is uh, reusable resources, and one is shareable resources, and another one is non-shareable resources. So if, for example, if you're talking about a printer is non-shareable resource. Why? Because, so what is mutual exclusion? Even though more than one process are trying to access non-shareable resource simultaneously, okay, at a time only one process can access that resource. So one by one, even though more than one process are ready for executing that task, okay, uh, on the printer, still they cannot use it simultaneously. They can use it in one by one manner, okay, one after another, we can say. So let us elaborate this example, in which we have P1 process and P2 process, and R1 is nothing but non-shareable resource. For example, like for example, R1 is nothing but a printer. Okay, now in this example, what will happen in this case? R1 is R1 R1 is assigned already to P1, means P1 is already hold R1. So now means P1 having these R1 resources. Now at the same time P2 is requesting to get the resource R1, but that request will not be fulfilled because these resource is not non-shareable. So that's why only one process can use that resource at a time. Okay, so that is nothing but mutual exclusion property. One at a time, or we can say one after another. Just like a printer is nothing but an example of non-shareable resource. What about shareable resources? There are some other examples of shareable resources, like shareable resources, like for example, if you are watching this video, okay, on YouTube, so definitely this video is shareable resource. It is one type of software resource, so it is shareable, means everybody can view this video simultaneously, which is not possible in the case of non-shareable resource. Same way, one more example of shared resource is, say for example, railway station. Sorry, uh, we can say in real life example there are so many examples. One more example uh, of shareable resources. Say for example, it is nothing but radio station. For example, radio station means what? More than one users can simultaneously play one station and listen these songs, okay, simultaneously. It is possible, so that's why it is called shareable resources. What are the shareable resources in terms of real life scenario? So one is a radio station is shareable resource. Second, as I told you, you know earlier, so these type of resources are nothing but shareable resources. Like as I told you, this video is shareable. Okay, so this is all about mutual exclusion property. Second property is hold and wait. Hold and wait means what? The name implies whatever the resources are available, so that will be simply acquired by the process, and whatever the resources are remaining, for that process will send a request to that process, request to get that resources. Let us see these things. What is hold and wait? A process is holding at least one resource and waiting for other resources. Means what? In this case, P1 and P2, these two are processes, and R1, R2, R3 are nothing but resources. So P1 is holding R1 and R2. Okay, P1 is holding R1 and R2, but for its own execution to complete a task, P1 requires R3 as well. So what will happen at a particular moment of time? R1 and R2 was ready, so that's why was ready. So that's why P1 acquired R1 and R2. Now R3 is not available. So what will happen? It will send a request to get the R3. Okay. But why it is not available R3 right now? Because R3 is acquired by some other process which is nothing but P2. Yes. So whatever the number of resources available, that will be simply acquired by the process, and whatever the number of resources are not available, okay, in that case it will send a request to get that resource, okay, which is acquired by some another process. So hold means what? Whatever the resources we have, that is holding by the process P1, and wait means what? Whatever the number of processes, number of resources which are not available, that in that case that process will simply wait for it. So in this case it won't release R1 and R2 till it gets R3. Means what? Once these R1 and R2 is acquired by P1, and one more resource is required for its execution, which is nothing but R3, but right now it is not available because which is acquired by some other process. So this P1 will not release R1 and R2, okay, because it requires one more resource for its own execution. So that's why it will hold R1 and R2 until it gets R3 for its execution. Yes, so this is nothing but hold and wait condition. Now the third one is no preemption. Preemption we have discussed in CPU scheduling algorithms. CPU scheduling algorithms can have two nature. One is preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm, and second one is non-preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm. So no preemption means what? Preemption means any process can forcefully preempt the execution of another process. That is called preemption, or we say preemptive nature. But no preemption means what? No other process or say operating system can forcefully preempt the process which is in execution mode. Okay, so a resource cannot be taken from a process unless the process release the resource. So right now P1 P1 holding the R1 resource. Okay, so P1 is executing its task. During execution, the operating system cannot interrupt the execution of this process. So operating system cannot forcefully preempt the execution of that process, or we say execution. It is not possible. Okay, suppose if any other process, like say for example P2 require R1, but right now R1 is acquired by P1. Okay, so P2 process cannot forcefully preempt these resource R1 for its execution until and unless the R1 is released by P1. Okay, so this is nothing but no preemption condition. And the last one is circular wait. Circular wait means what? A set of processes are waiting for each other in circular form. Means, as I told you in the previous slide, in this slide, we have already discussed this situation is nothing but a deadlock situation. Same figure I have repeated over here. Like in circular wait, P1 is requesting a resource, okay, but that resource hold by P2 process. P1 is sending a request to R1 resource, but R1 is acquired by P2 right now. Same way, P2 is sending a request to R2, but R2 is acquired by P1. When such type of situation occur, means what? When cycle is formed, in that case, the deadlock would be there. So if these four situation, which situation? First one is mutual exclusion, second one is hold and wait, third one is no preemption, and fourth one is circular wait. If these four situation is true simultaneously, in that case we can say that deadlock is there in the system. If you want to avoid deadlock in the system, any one situation needs to be false. Okay, so how we can do it, that we'll see in the later sessions, but these things to keep in our mind. These four situation needs to be true simultaneously, then and then you can say that deadlock is there in the system. So I hope it is clear. Whatever we have discussed so far, we have discussed, the real life example of deadlock with respect to operating system, and what are the different conditions which are necessary to make a deadlock in the system. Okay, so I hope it was clear to you. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.